Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Empowered Pause. I am your host, Rachel Chenoa J. Welcome to Wednesday, March 22nd. We are officially fully into spring now, so it's a new season, which I'm really excited about, actually. Um, Thank you for being here. If I hope some of you may catch this live, but if not, this share or this session is always going to be recorded, so you can share it with other people or rewatch it at a later time. Before I get started on today's topic, I want to, of course, give you a little bit of information about Speak Initiative and what we actually do. So, Speak Initiative is a nonprofit organization that is committed to reducing the stigma around mental health care and suicide in our communities. Speak stands for Suicide Prevention Through Empowerment, Action, and Kindness. And as always, as you can see by the banner that's scrolling below, you can follow us on all social media platforms. And of course, we are still taking tax deductible donations for the events that we are actually putting together and for some of the interviewing that we are going to be doing as well. Which brings me to another announcement that we are looking for a guest that would like to be a part of the Empowered Pause to have either an interview or a brief check in just to see how our speakers and our listeners are actually doing. And if you would like to share a story or share coping mechanisms to how you actually are coping with your mental health experience, or if you have had past suicidal ideations and would like to come on and have a discussion about your healing process and where you are today, we would really like to have you on the show. So if that is you, or if you know someone who may be interested, feel free to send us a direct message in IG or on Facebook. We are active on all platforms. So today, I would just like to talk really briefly about suffering in life. And I'm under the impression a lot of us know what that feels like. And I came across a share in a daily devotional that was shared with me this morning. And I wanted to share it with you here and just talk a little bit about suffering in life and how it can affect you and actually give you strength at the same time. Right. So the quote is, and it's not very long of an article, it's just really pretty short, but it says, life is full of unexpected suffering. Even so, as Eleanor Roosevelt said, if you can live through that, insert any difficult situation, you can live through anything. You gain strength and courage and confidence by every experience in which you really stop to look fear in the face. You are able to say to yourself, I've lived through this horror. I can take the next thing that comes along. That's exactly right. Struggling against difficulty enables us to develop ourselves tremendously. We can call forth and manifest those abilities lying dormant within us. Difficulty can be a source of dynamic growth and positive progress, right? That actually came from the book Buddhism Day by Day, and that is today's devotional, right? So, struggling, none of us like it. None of us like to suffer, especially me. I'm very transparent about that on here. We talked about being patient with yourself last week and how that can actually look. Well, being in the space of still being patient with myself, I'm realizing that, suffering is something that is going to happen with participation or without, right? This is a part of our life, but it's how we actually handle and go through that suffering that really defines who we are, and the things that we can actually gain out of those challenging situations. So again, I think I always hear recently that feelings are not facts; they are just information to get you through to the next time that, say, for instance, you have that feeling again. You may be able to check in and say, "Oh, wow, this is familiar. I know what I did that worked last time, so maybe I have the information now to do something different this time." right? So again, none of us like to suffer. No one wants the world to be challenging and hard and traumatic and all of the things that actually come up. But we know for a fact, especially in our adult lives, or a lot of us, even in our childhoods, know that suffering is real. It does happen. And there's not too much we can do about it if we actually look at the scheme of things. The way our lives work, there are ebbs and there are flows. There are ups and there's downs. There's mountains and valleys, or however you want to describe the the cycle of life, right? And being in control is a wonderful feeling when you think that you can control so certain things in your life, but there are so many things that we do not control, and some of those things can cause us to suffer at some times during our encounter with those things. But I'm just here to give you a reminder that even in the suffering, you can still find strength. Even in the challenges, there's information that is going to be imparted if you're listening and if you're available to to take a moment to understand the situation or the moment and then let it speak to you. And sometimes we're upset or we are triggered or we're emotional because suffering is real and it hurts. And sometimes we don't always get the message or the end point or the reason for the suffering. But I know from personal experience that once you build up that muscle does not atrophy unless you don't use it. So when you have these skills and you've learned certain lessons in life, hopefully that information can be used at a later time. So when you do find yourself in a challenging moment, that information can kick in and if suffering may not be as bad as the last time, right? So I just want to encourage you, don't give up. Yes, we will suffer at times. Life is not always going to be challenging, but it's not always going to be easy either. Life is full of unexpected suffering, but every experience, every time you look fear in the face, you get stronger and stronger and stronger. So I just wanted to impart that word of encouragement to you as I give it to myself. Again, if you or someone you know would like to be a guest on the Empowered Pause and just share some experiences or some information or just, want to talk about mental health in our community, definitely feel free to reach out to us by our DMs or Facebook Messenger, or you can actually send us an email directly as well. Okay, so until next time, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. I look forward to seeing you again.